Welcome back, everyone. The Midlands is home to several active duty servicemen and women and veterans. With bases like Fort Jackson and Shaw Air Force Base being near, it is so important for the defenders of our nation to not only be able to depend on various state and national agencies for resources, but another important thing, they need to lean on each other for support. Joining me today is United States Marine Corps and Army National Guard veteran and author Gene Bennett, who is just releasing his book, We Did Not Deserve the Crapper, The Prison We Entered But Never Left. So one of the things that has caught my eye so far about this, Gene, is what you said. This is, if you're looking to build loyalty, respect, communication skills, and you read this book, this is what not to do. Yeah, tell me more about your book. And first, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, driving all the way from North Carolina to join us today, so that means a lot for us. Tell me about your book. The cover along is just capturing.
Okay, it's about my time in Baghdad as a prison guard. That's the main thrust of it. And it was technically done a few years ago, but then my first editor's like, I put one story at the end about my childhood, and he's like, I need more of that because to complete you as a character. And he referred to that when it was only 264 pages. He referred to it as white hot rage. So that's what caused the delay in getting it done.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about your background, Gene, and where this idea from the book came from, because I think with people just like your publisher or your editor said, rather, if people know more about you, they'll get why this book is so important.
Well, when I was a diesel technician, and when I did that, when I went to Baghdad that second time, I was voluntold to take that mission. When a soldier hears the needs of the Army, you're going to do whatever they tell you. It doesn't matter what your job is. So that was me being told that's what I was going to do, and that. We live here in the South, so they talk about the Jews going around the mountain. That was me going, that mission, doing that detainee ops mission where I was a prison guard, was me going around the mountain, because that was the longest 5 months of my life.
Wow.
So yeah.
Wow. And in this book, what makes it relatable for other service members out there?
It is very, very unbelievably blunt, because one of the things that we as veterans bring home with us from the war is we bring when our assessment style is brutally honest, and we bring that home with us, and I put that brutal honesty in conversational form so veterans could be like, yep, a veteran wrote that, there's no doubt.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And you talk about trauma in it and how to deal with it.
Dealing with it it's just, you got to put in the work. There are no secrets to dealing with trauma other than putting in the work. The ugly cries, the journaling in my book is ultimately that, just a boatload of journaling that I threw out into the public sphere.
Yeah.
So it's just putting in the work. It's getting out of the house and going to the gym and getting your anger out of your system and taking up hobbies so you're not in your own head. I mean, right now I'm still struggling with it. I'm in my own head right now struggling, but I got that out there, and I'm trying to I wrote my experiences completely and bluntly as possible so the veteran could introduce that to a civilian. That way he could use that to introduce his story and his trauma and his pain as selectively as possible to make it the easiest for him to do that.
And so it's like you're passing on a tool to help educate people who may have not been in this experience, who may never be in this experience, kind of understand from a different side. When you're dealing with a veteran, these are some of the things that is going through their mind.
Yeah, I want that in the mental health community so they can be like, so this is what's running around in their heads when they're trying to not lose it with us and when they're trying to just function and get things done, because we are very mission oriented and we don't like things getting in the way of us doing the mission. So
wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's deep. Now, we talked about this at the top of the interview. There are so many organizations out there to help veterans and active members. But when it comes to your book, what makes this different than going to an organization?
What it is, it's me helping the veteran to get to force it out of their system to where, like, if they have a spouse, they're gonna read it, the spouse is gonna read it, and the spouse is gonna be like, and we haven't been to a vet center, you know, which is a counseling center. We're going to a vet center to start dealing with this stuff, because I have a lot of veterans tell me this is triggering for them to where it's dredged up stuff they weren't ready for. So
it's that deep.
It's that blunt. Again, it's that brutally honest sense of assessment that just hits you like a freight train, and it forces you to deal with things when you're not ready, and it forces you to accept help. And for a veteran, that's hard, because we're so used to being so self-sufficient and independent that when we have to come home and ask for help, it's like pulling teeth. So yeah.
Wow, really?
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness. Well, Gene, thank you so much for coming on the show and telling us about your book. You mentioned you are not an author. You are
No.
doing this from the heart to really help others.
It's a promise kept to my guys that I served with. So
Wow.
that's what it ultimately is.
Do you have anything else in the works?
Right now I'm doing a cookbook because, like I mentioned before, I sucked up to my editor, my former publisher, by cooking for them, and I missed the sarcasm in them telling me to write a cookbook. I'm doing what I will simply refer to as a brick oven smoker to, to make comfort food, and as I like to sarcastically say, I'm still trying to get the taste of MRE out of my mouth because it's nasty. And I'm doing a writer's guide to help veterans do that if they want to do it, to get it out in the most complete and authentic way possible, so we can start having dialogue with each other, because we can't be beating each other over the head with that, again, blunt assessment, because it's good for testing loyalty, but it's not good for healing. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah,
I see. Well, Gene, thank you so much. We did not deserve the crapper, the prison we entered but never left. Already released on Amazon.
It is on Amazon, yes, in hardback, paperback, and Kindle.
All right, perfect. By Gene Bennett. Make sure that you grab a copy. Gene, thank you so much for coming on the show.
No, thank you.
We're going to take a quick break. Much more Soda City Live when we return.